Polling by Pew Research found fewer than half of U.S. adults say they've ever heard or read anything about Christian nationalism. But whether they've heard of it or not, Christian nationalism's influence is all over this administration.
To be self-evident that all men are created equal. It does not say born equal, it says created equal. And that it is our Creator, yes. It is our Creator that gives us our rights. See, the powerful thing about that is we're the first nation in the history of the world that acknowledged that our rights do not derive from government. They come from God Himself.
This nation, particularly to Christian people, should be completely, totally based on what George Washington said to Jesus. The first act of Congress, number one, the first act of Congress was to enter covenant with the Almighty God based on the book of Genesis.
The Senate, having been in continuous session since yesterday, the Senate will suspend for a prayer by the Senate chaplain.
Eternal, ever-blessed God, help our senators to walk on your path for the glory of your name.
They project Jesus' teachings to a government when Jesus' teachings were to the individual. Yeah. So listen, there's nothing stopping you, dear, from bringing as many illegal immigrants into your home as you like and feeding as many homeless as you like. But you're not going to declare that Jesus is commanding the government to do that. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, His kingdom is not of this earth. And so when we're contending for religious freedom so that you can do that. No one's stopping you from doing that. Yeah. But don't take the government and tell us that the government is now in charge of health care. They stink at it. Government was never designed for that. And it's limited in the foundation of this country. So, you know, His teachings are always to the individual, never for the government.
Where were these people that are worried about these bad conditions and all? Where were these people when J6ers were being put in solitary confinement for more than a year, not allowed to meet with their attorney, not allowed to shave or shower or cut their fingernails? The beatings that took place with these. I mean, where were these human rights activists when that was happening in our state's capital in the gulag there? So yeah, I think this is a beautiful thing to see.
What is the fourth commandment?
Keep the Sabbath.
Part of keeping the Sabbath holy is not working on the Sabbath.
That is, yeah.
What day is the Jewish Sabbath?
It is on Saturday.
And what day is it today?
It is Saturday. Here we are.
The Christian Sabbath is what day?
Sunday, in honor of the day that Jesus rose from the dead.
And we're scheduled to give this bill a final vote on what day of the week?
It's ironic, isn't it?
Would you be willing to postpone your bill so that we're not breaking the Ten Commandments by working on the Jewish or Christian Sabbath?
I love that you said that because
you're saying that you'd rather tell people to follow the Ten Commandments than follow it yourself?
I would have rather have had this bill passed the other day when it was time.
We as a legislature are about to force every teacher in the state to post the Ten Commandments in their classrooms.
If they are donated.
Do members of the Texas legislature follow the Ten Commandments?
So again, this bill is about honoring our historical, educational, and judicial heritage with the displaying of the Ten Commandments.
The ninth commandment is thou shalt not bear false witness. Are you aware of any legislators who have lied about anything?
That is, there might be one coming up in a minute if you keep talking. We'll see.
The seventh commandment is thou shalt not commit adultery.
Yes.
Do you think that members of the legislature should focus more on trying to follow the Ten Commandments rather than telling others to follow them?
Maybe they didn't have them posted. It is incumbent on all of us to follow God's law.
As someone who graduated from Liberty University and became a Christian nationalist, I want to tell you what got me there. I did not have a good self-esteem. I grew up with a lot of trauma. So when I got to Liberty, they make you feel like you are the chosen people, that you are superior to everybody else, that you have chosen the right path. and that everybody else who chose differently than you is a little beneath you. Now, of course, my brain wasn't fully developed, and so this felt very exciting. Finally, I was going to be a part of something great, and God was behind this, which made sense because all throughout the Bible, there was a chosen people too, who did horrific things, killed thousands of people, kidnapped virgin little girls and kept them for themselves. And all of that was acceptable in the eyes of God. And I thought, well, who am I to judge what God does? God knows better than me. And I was very excited to be a part of this club. And they all look like me too. And they made women feel that although you are beneath a man, one day your reward will be in heaven. And you have this special purpose on the earth to get married and have children and continue to raise an army for God. And that's something men can't do, so you're special. I also thought that everyone who did not believe like me was evil and working for the devil, and that gave me permission to want to punish people. I also used to think that if a woman had an abortion, then she should get the death penalty. I'm not proud of that. But feeling like you're superior to other people in the name of God will give yourself permission to get away with evil, horrible things.
Since 1954, the IRS's Johnson Amendment has barred churches and nonprofits from endorsing or opposing political candidates. In theory, this was meant to keep religious institutions from becoming political machines. But recently, the IRS effectively ruled that churches can openly endorse candidates or parties without any consequences whatsoever. This move came after several churches and the national religious broadcasters took the IRS to court, claiming that that Johnson Amendment violated their First Amendment rights to free speech and religious expression. As is the case with just about every constitutional right at this point, the separation of church and state is largely over. Schools are being forced to display the Ten Commandments, Speaker Mike Johnson is, quote, preparing to become Moses, and evangelical churches are rapidly transforming into propaganda arms of the far right. We can already see the effects of Christian nationalism's grip on American politics as hard-won rights and freedoms continue to be eroded under the guise of being un-American or ungodly. And if we don't confront this movement head-on, we risk surrendering our freedoms entirely to this fascistic vision of America that only serves those who believe that Donald Trump, of all people, is literally the second coming of Jesus Christ. If you enjoyed that, then make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming a member. So you're probably wondering, why would I do that? Well, when you do that, you get access to bonus content that I make every single week, and it's a lot of fun. You get custom emojis and more. If you join at tier 3, by the way, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself. And you'll get all that going forward, but you'll also unlock years of the back catalog that is literally 100 or more bonus clips and top 10 lists and debates and more. So what are you waiting for?